Musketeer Coaches Show, and it's right here at Bob Rose North End Zone. Brought to you by Knife River, also brought to you by Sioux City Ford. We're talking Musketeer hockey and everything in between. Of course, last week, there was going to be 4 games. There ended up to be 3 games. There's a schedule for 2 games this week. We're going to go to 3 games this week because we're going to have the makeup game from Sunday, of course. Weather warranted because weather was not necessarily the worst thing in the world in Sioux City, but it was everywhere else in the state of Iowa, it seemed like. And I'll start off by this, and I thought maybe I could get this thing through. Every Monday, the Musketeer, or the USHL has the little media conference online, and then we vote for Players of the Week. And I try to throw out a Player of the Week here and there, and if it's warranted, I think it's fair. And so I put my Musketeer Player of the Week as Rick Stewart, our bus driver, for getting us
Amen.
From Waterloo to Sioux City safe. They thought it was a good idea, but apparently like 3 goals and 3 assists were better than a team being safe.
Yeah.
I kind of have a problem there.
Hakkarainen? Yep. Good player.
Yep.
Not as good as Rick.
Not as good as Rick. But, yeah, that's what the key is, safety. We play 62 games, and hockey is played in the worst months of the year weather-wise. And it happens. Had to go to Waterloo for a Saturday night game. We knew that was taking place, but you got to do what you can do. And we finally tried to make the trip back on Sunday. There was no chance.
Well, I mean, what is a Waterloo trip normally? Like
three and a half hours nonstop. You can
probably 340.
That's maybe bus.
Yeah.
But on a car, I guarantee you I can get there under 3.5.
So if you leave at 7:30 in the morning, and you drive all day long.
Yep.
And you arrive at, 10 to 6, quarter to 6? That's a long day.
Yes. That was, we'll add 5 hours on top of the normal.
All of 5 hours.
We didn't stop.
No, we did.
We didn't try. Well, we stopped for like a 5-minute get off the bus break and then get back on. Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. We did stop.
Yeah.
We stopped for 2.5 hours in the middle of Highway 20. People have asked, "Oh, did you have to pull over?" I'm like, No. We were right in the dead center of the 2 lanes.
Everybody had pulled over for us, actually.
Yes.
The semis.
2 semis, 3 cars, 65 cars in the ditch is what we saw, and it's kind of funny. And that's why it was shocking for a lot of people that haven't seen. Was there a lot of snow? No, but 50-mile-an-hour winds. It was what they called a ground blizzard.
I don't know. It was called.
How did that feel, flagging down a car when you and Johns are in a snowbank?
I need to give a major shout out to Sauk County Sheriff's Office, Tori Cuddebuck, Sergeant Tori.
Sergeant Tori.
Kind enough to be off duty and pull us out of a snowdrift after I was in the middle of Highway 20 doing jumping jacks, trying to wave somebody down to stop. And whoever the snowplow driver was, it was either like hit me, run me over, get this over with the snowplow.
Yeah, it won't be cold anymore.
Or please pull over and see if you can't swoop us out of some sort. So, Sergeant Torrey, quick to respond. I think he was actually going to
home,
maybe dig his sister out of a snowbank herself. So, anytime tickets, it's all you on me.
Well, and that's where we were at. We were north of Sac City. We were around that whole area.
That was Highway 110.
Yeah, it was 110. I told you to take 110. So, it was a great spot.
Yep. Yeah. Traffic controller here, Curtis.
DOT said that was open.
Just take 110 north, and you'll catch 3, and you'll be able to go around this whole mess. 110 north is snow-covered, drift-covered.
They said it was open.
Bumper high.
That only had a purple hue on that one. It wasn't red with those negative signs saying stop. That's where we stopped. It was 3 miles later.
That is an accurate. Whatever.
Maybe they needed to update that website.
That DOT is accurate, let me tell you.
Well, it's probably because no one looked, because they were too busy trying to plow. Give a lot of credit. And then what happens? We're sitting there screaming in our ears going, can we move? And what happens? I mean, it's just the way it worked on this thing. Who comes to the rescue? Stockton Towing, our scoreboard sponsor, with his big rig comes barreling down 20, and we're like, and I had to tell the guys because they still hadn't, what is this Stockton Towing thing? And because they'll listen to the play-by-play, it's the scoreboard sponsor. And I go, that's Stockton Towing. And they're all like, yeah!
They were heroes for sure.
Yep.
What a mess, and hopefully everyone's safe.
Yeah, so Stockton Towing was awesome. The DOT was awesome.
Yes.
And the plow guy who's been on for 20 hours, which was probably 10 past the limit.
Literally. He had to quit at 7. Otherwise, he was, I don't know.
He quits at 7, and we're not plowed out. We're there.
They basically said, if you're not out by then, you're not getting home. Well, afterwards, like you saw, the plows hadn't been out in front of the accident. Those drifts across one lane that you can't see coming.
I was your spotter.
Yeah, you were.
Watch out on the right. Here it comes.
You were a great spotter. It was huge for us.
It was pretty cool in the bus, and Rick's going, all right, this one will be a good one.
Yeah. It's like Valley Fair, the Flume.
Yes, at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except in the Flume, you don't
I guess that was
go into the
that
ditch.
amusement park. Maybe it was the Flume. I'm sure there's other ones now.
Yeah, but at the amusement park, you don't go into the ditch.
Yeah, it was nasty.
So anyways, it got postponed, and so I started covering Musketeer hockey 01-02 season. I have been a part now of 3 postponements. 2 of them are this year.
Yeah.
And by the way, they all are around you.
Yeah, well, the one prior to was a home game.
And they couldn't get to us.
They couldn't get to us, but we couldn't get to the rink either.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was bad. We get like a foot of snow that day or something.
It was nasty, yep.
But that was years ago, and I'm talking, I don't know how many, I hate counting how many years I've been doing this, but it doesn't happen very often.
Nothing, you don't even like,
But you can't do anything?
We don't want to cancel.
No, you got 62
be home
games.
safe than stuck in a bus or a car or a drift.
If we would have left Saturday night, we would have been right next to those semis that nosedived into the ditch.
I've never seen that many semis off the side of the road. I've seen lots of cars, but not that many semis.
It was pretty cool, though. I'm sitting there watching Stockton yank that semi out like it was nothing.
Thank goodness they did, too.
Otherwise we'd spend a week in Fort Dodge, I guess. Anyways, so that's the crazy transpiring side of things for the Musketeers. Happy to be safe. Thanks a lot to Navigator Rick Stewart.
Big time.
Kicking butt, doing what he had to do.
He's a stud at it, I can tell you that. He's probably one of the only drivers where you can just lay your head down in a bus and take a nap and know that you got enough peace to take that nap.
There's not a lot. There's not a lot that you can do that to. We've had that experience as well, going,
potentially.
Hey, Mr. Rumble Strips.
No, this time he was only using rumble strips to find the road.
I have no problem in that conditions him using rumble strips. I just have a problem when it's sunny and 70 and we're using rumble strips. But here nor there, it was an adventure. It's taken care of, and now the situation comes. It's postponed. It's coming up on Sunday this week, 3 o'clock. Paw Patrol. Thank goodness that you rescheduled this, otherwise my wife would be so disappointed. Paw Patrol will be in action coming up on Sunday. Same deal. Tickets are good and dandy for Sunday if you had the tickets for this last week. And if you have any questions, call the office on that one, because get you hooked up for a Sunday afternoon against Sioux Falls on the makeup. So,
adopt a team dog.
I don't think you have a choice now.
Still in my blood. We'll see.
I don't think you have a choice. I think Sandy's going to adopt it for you and then give it to you. Yeah, could you get her okay on which dogs? Because she'll be taking care of it when we're out of town.
Sent me a few pictures this week already. I'm like, slow down, pump the brakes.
Yeah, it's because I don't allow her to buy.
It'd be a good addition to our team.
Yeah.
Along with our other one.
Noah's Hope, awesome deal. It's like we talked about before. It's going to be a really nice weekend. And it's also Face Off for Charity weekend. Let's hit on that real quick, and then we'll take a break, and we'll actually talk about hockey. But Face-off for charity is Thursday. You still have an opportunity to get tickets.
Yep.
I guarantee you we'll find another table if you want to buy a table for your business or a group of people.
Yep.
And it's $25 for a single ticket. It comes with meal, auctions, silent auction at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. The players will serve you on the ice with a cover on it. You don't have to slip around. And then 7 o'clock is the live auction. And, of course, in the weekend, Friday and Saturday, there'll be silent auctions up on the in the hallways and stuff like that. Boys and girls home and family services. I know we talk about it all the time, but I want to keep talking to remind someone, hey, if you got nothing going on Thursday, you will have fun.
It's a special time. Obviously, Terry was in our room today and had a good conversation with the guys again. Just it really impactful for our guys when on our little visit there, and they had some of theirs come and see us at the rink and things, and fortunate that they're able to help them. Unfortunate that the kids are in that position to be helped, and at the same time, it's time to dig in and raise some money. And undercover goal is we want to make $75,000. That'd be the highest.
Yeah. What was it, like 74 something last year?
Yep.
That's a good chunk of change. That means some people are bringing some checkbooks, which is awesome.
It is, and then Cliffy's got the best. He's got Carter Hart jersey from Philly. The goaltender that's the hottest goalie, minus the St. Louis goalie, the rookie sensation though. And then whoever buys it, we send it back to Cliffy. They put on the note whatever they want it signed to. To who? To whom? To whatever, wherever, and then Carter will get it signed and sent back to us.
Did he coach Carter too, or what?
He did, and Everett.
Who didn't he coach, by the way?
There's a lot of them in the NHL, that's for sure.
Yeah. Anyways,
so Thursday,
call the Musketeer office. It's the easiest, or Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. They'll take care of you. So a lot of fun. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the team. Let's see who's playing. It's our weekly game. Who's playing and who's not. We'll be right back. Fox Sports Radio 620. Musketeer Coaches Show is right here on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS. Bob Rose North End Zone in Leeds is where good times gather. It's also brought to you by Knife River and Sioux City Ford. Curtis Anderson along with the head coach of the Sioux City Musketeers. That is Luke Strand. And, well, the last game didn't play, but it wasn't a good week for the Musketeers.
Tough week.
Tough week, tough opponents.
Yep.
How worn down are you, or is it teams that your opponents were attacking where your weakness was, which was shorthanded?
I mean, both. I think there's parts of our Fargo game I had no problem with on Tuesday.
I thought you guys played a good game.
We played a good game. You got to capitalize when you do, and it's 2-0 and you're 5-on-3 in the power play. You need to score.
That changed.
So that changed that game for sure. The Sioux Falls, I think Sioux Falls is good. Sioux Falls might be the best team we've played, personally, front to back, page, top to bottom.
The way they match up?
The way they skate. I think they've got some size and they skate, and Scott does a good job with this group. I think they're pretty consistent with the way they play.
They consistently attack.
They do, and Waterloo's an animal in their own place, which has been the truth, and we've got to figure that and fix that because, knock on wood, do your part. You end up, wherever you end up is whoever you play. So you got to be able to beat those guys in front of you.
You need to shut out Waterloo because once they score one goal, they want to score like two more in the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's their MO for sure.
I mean, of momentum teams, they fit the bill more than anybody.
Yep, that's been their MO forever. So, yeah, I mean, you got to take care of that part. I think just as a group, obviously the health is of a concern, and getting maybe some trickling bodies back in, but I'll believe it when I see them put the jersey on. Let's put it that way.
Good fight back in Waterloo. Looking at some positives. I thought that second period is a great fight back. I think getting you in the third period. It just.
Yep, I mean, we gave up an early one in the third. I thought we got loose in the third, and then we tried to get back into the game in the third, got looser in the third. The second period, for me, we were smart, we were patient, we were above the puck. We made them turn the puck over a ton in the second period, took advantage of it, capitalized. Third, we got anxious, like we didn't want to be patient. We didn't want to play that way anymore. So it's a learning lesson for our group. I think there's part of that part. And then, two, just managing the roster. Really, at the end of the day, like, guys got to get healthy here. We were even shorter on Saturday than when we had been on Friday. And so it just weeds down.
Well, it does. And I think it does take a toll. You were scheduled, even having 3 games, and then you've been battling with 4 defensemen for what, 1, 2, 3, 5 games?
Yep.
5 games is a long time, no matter how good they are.
Yeah, for sure. That part, I think they've done a very admirable job about what they've done. Matter of fact, the experience of how to maybe simplify a game is great. Sioux Falls, I think, did the best job of it. They made our D just go out back and get pucks and go back and get pucks and go back and
over and over.
Yeah, the later in the game there in Waterloo, as forwards, foolish enough to turn over pucks, they counter, they come right back at you, and because of probably the fatigue of the D, your gap becomes shallow, and then all of a sudden, they got a pretty good ramp of speed coming at you on the attack.
Okay, so you guys are playing with those numbers, and again, maybe we'll get into this because I've had a ton of people ask me, well, why don't you get an affiliate player?
Yep.
Why don't you pick up a player? Okay, the first part is you cannot pick up a player to the roster, period.
Period.
In fact, Johnson even looked at an emergency situation because your numbers. He knew what the answer was, but at least he looked into it.
Yeah, no. So the roster imbalance that way started February the 6th before we were hurt. So that's just the way it goes. And we've got affiliates that are currently playing on their own teams. So once they are continuing to play on their teams, they're not available for our taking.
They would lose their eligibility on their team. And
correct.
And who is going to hose a team that they're, especially in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're there for. They're building, and we're trying to build winners at different levels. So when they come here, they've won things. So it's pretty hard to.
How happy would a team be? Let's say Hermantown, for instance.
Yeah.
Let's say Hermantown, who's going for a state title, by the way.
Yeah.
And I know in all that. I was just wondering if we could take your best player that could win state because of him.
You mean the only junior on the Player of the Year from the state of Minnesota?
Yes, that kid.
Yep.
I'm wondering, we just need him for a little while. You know what I mean?
Right.
I guess as fans, as everyone else around the USHL, we're really not thinking about what those guys are doing
right.
in those other states.
And we've got more than our roster limit even in town. We have, and really
because you're balancing affiliates now.
Because you're juggling that part already, and for someone to crystal ball me and say like, hey, you'll have 7 regulars out of your lineup. I wouldn't. You're prepared for 3.
Yes.
Positionally doesn't matter. You're prepared for 3, not 7.
Or even 4 and be done it 100 times.
Yeah, I mean,
but you're not prepared
for
14 skaters.
No.
Ever.
No team is. And then, you got the trade deadline coming on. So people have asked, why doesn't Brady Smith? Brady Smith wanted more ice time. He could
have got it, by the way, but
he had just played 24 minutes the night before in Omaha. Didn't make a good couple reads and plays against Chicago here. Was sat, which is part of hockey.
Happens to every player on the roster, correct?
And then immediately asked for a trade, which no one wanted to move for a player at that time. So instead of having an unhappy person here, the idea of sending someone home, and because at that moment you're kind of playing with fire, so you got to wait until someone wants to be a buyer.
Yep. And you just got one, and explain that.
And we did. So we traded Brady to Madison in the East, and we acquired a young man named Josh Boyer for Brady Smith and a 7th-round pick.
Assistant captain with Madison, and Madison team that struggled but he was very noticeable.
Very good. I mean, he's 6'2", right-hand forward, plays very hard, plays heavy.
He can skate, too.
He can skate. He's got a very hard stride about what he does. He shoots a puck a ton. A year ago, he's a plus point a game guy in the North American League in Brookings on a not such a great team, committed to University of Nebraska Omaha, and it was going to be a good addition for our team.
Well, yeah, obviously, any additions are good, at least for depth and everything else in between. Let's talk. Okay, so he is the new acquisition. Is he here, or is he'll be here by this weekend?
He was here by last night.
Oh, there you go. So, very good.
Packed, ready, gone.
Yeah, well, and it's a new venture. Madison struggled all year, and Madison doesn't want those top players. They want draft picks, maybe, or what have you, to stay afloat for next year.
Yep.
Okay, let's do the playing or not playing, or close to it, or maybe not. Aaron Grounds.
And TBD is to be determined.
He's getting closer, is what you're saying.
He will practice tomorrow without a red jersey on, which is an injured jersey. So Groundsy is closer. He skated today, felt way better, was in red, but at the same time, you could definitely tell he felt better. No question. His movements, you could hear him, so he was feeling better. Let's put it that way.
Well, let's put it into perspective, too. He's got to be healthy. How hard he plays.
Yeah, he plays very hard. He plays borderline, maybe even reckless at times, and so he needs to be very healthy. And I would say, if it's up to him in his eyes today, he expects and wants to be in the lineup.
Brock Baker.
Bakes is still not skating, so.
Well, with his injury, it might take a little longer.
It's going to. I think he's on schedule as far as his strengthening goes, and as far as his movement goes, as far as some things go on a lower body injury. But at the same time, I wouldn't say he's that close. He might be closer to skating, but he's not very close to joining our team to play.
Is he looking at surgery in the off season at all?
You know, it's been no. They've kind of ruled.
They're saying it's good.
It out. That's why we went through this process here right now. He's been, I bet you he's closer than further. You can just tell in his rehab and in his gym time that he's way better than what he was. He's doing way more one-footed things. He's doing one-leg lifting, balance routine things. So he's closer than further, but at the same time, not very close.
Well, Yami Nieminen.
We'll practice tomorrow after practice in a red to really push it and test it, hip issue. So we've got he's close. He could be, but at the same time, it'd be really easy reoccur if it's not good.
Okay, I think this is getting close. Luke Johnson.
There's a chance you'll see number 3 this week for sure. I mean,
one of the games, or
one of the games,
2 of the games, 3 of the games.
2 of the games. If the 3-3 might be a pretty stiff one to try to pull off with him on the recovery. I mean, he's past the recovery phase. He's got less swelling in his ankle every time he skates now, which is a huge sign. He's got confidence, and it's taped, but at the same time, his mobility is back to his mobility is back to where it was, and actually, he's probably in better shape than where he was.
Do you choose? Let's say if he's going to go 2 out of 3, do you go like, hey, Friday, recovery, Sunday? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to choose those kind of things.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a little bit of temperature as far as how the body's recovering.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some of those things. So we'll see where it's at. But I would, at some point here over the weekend, you'll see Luke Johnson back in.
Dominic Vidoli.
You'll not see Dom
this weekend at all.
No, it's just we're not there yet. I think he's basically day to day better and better. We'll skate tomorrow red afterwards. He'll go through a pretty hard maintenance routine here this week to see where he's at. And I would say there's a chance he plays the following weekend, but right now it's for sure not this weekend.
Okay, so there we're sitting. How about another D? Adam Samuelson.
Sammy has actually got color in his face. He looks like
a player,
human being again.
He isn't like Walking Dead.
Man, I felt bad. I mean, you get a 6'6" kid with 6'6" kid that's got influenza that gets wiped out totally. They look like not good. So, bag of bones.
Does that happen to, let's say, an athlete or something that works and works and works, and then when you get a bug like that, does it really zap you because of how hard you work?
Maybe. I mean, they say it was a whole influenza thing, so...
Some are worse than others.
Knock on wood, it didn't get through our room, which was pretty huge, and probably caught at the right time. And at the time, actually, Vids is his roommate, and Vids was back in Carolina.
Good.
Yeah, so it kind of maybe missed the swooping side of this thing. But so I where he's at as well.
All right, I got two more for you.
Okay, keep going.
Sam Stang.
Sammer's not going to be here. They keep winning. He just scored the overtime winner in their sectional final, so double overtime.
Not this weekend, but we're looking at the near future.
Yeah, possibly here. He's got. They're in the state tournament this weekend, and then he's got his youth commitment to Team Wisconsin, which, depending on how they do, will determine on when and if he can get here.
Blake Biondi.
Blake, we're major confident that Blake will join us after his season. They're going for their sectional final here this week. He will most likely, knock on wood, hopefully for himself and his squad, play in the Minnesota State Tournament a week from now. Again, he's one of 5 up for Player of the Year in the state of Minnesota and the only junior, so he'll be an exciting addition when he gets here. But you know what? He stayed back for a reason, and this is the reason he stayed back for, so we're here to support him.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we want him to succeed, and if he went to Hermantown, of course he makes it at the championship. But they don't always win, but they're always in the championship.
Pretty darn close.
Well, they just get they get a special locker room just for them.
We'll take keep winning, keep learning how to win. It's a big part of what you want to do.
How about a guy, and was just in other affiliates that we maybe have seen poked at, like let's say an Aiden Harper, when he's done, is he going to be in town? Because he's a future guy for you.
So Harps just did end this weekend.
Okay.
Harps will be in town Thursday.
His numbers where he was at were awesome.
Stellar, spectacular goaltending numbers this year. Young man committed to UMass Lowell. Big, bright future ahead of him. Potential NHL pick this year. Will join our team here on Thursday, and they'll start another cycle of competition in a new position, because all the other positions are getting competition right now.
Anybody else I'm missing? I went through every list. I got a big list here.
Well, Jake Flynn is on our roster. Jake Flynn, gang, is a player that we added to our roster, maybe twofold. Maybe he was an attractive asset at one point here. There's a chance of him coming out, and at the same time, Jake will not be joining us, but will be on that list. And there's a chance you see a Mason Langenbrunner. There's a chance you see a Jimenez player that's quite a talent from out east. So, but right now with the addition of Josh, and you get Groundsy back and potentially Nemo back, it'd be a weird feeling, but there'd be enough maybe for 12 up front.
It's kind of strange, because we're talking about these affiliates that might join later, and we can talk about affiliates that were here at the holiday break or before their season started.
Steinberg, prime example.
Exactly. How could you have any worse timing on your injuries, illness?
No, because before the date, there's a chance to add a player from a different league and bring somebody in. And
honestly, it was the worst time, and you had to do it. Obviously, one more thing on it too. Martin Pospisil, what are we down to? 4 games?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4. I should be 4. 4 games. He'll be traveling probably to Kearney for that Tri-City.
For game 2 of Kearney is the goal. So it's funny because people are like, oh, you guys didn't want to play Sioux Falls shorthanded. I'm like, I don't really care when we play Sioux Falls. I really want Poss off parole. So
yes, because you wanted the game.
He's got to use up those games to be off suspension.
Yeah, which was.
As far as timing goes, there's another one. The timing was not great.
All right, so you have a team. Okay, we don't have much time, so we're not going to take a break. Let's talk actually about who the heck you're playing. You're playing the under. We know Sioux Falls. We don't even bring that up. That's going to be Sunday. Yep. But the under-17s are coming to town, and it's always so funny. You go, gosh, I want to play the under-17s rather than the under-18s, because the under-18s usually have played for so long. Under-17s is almost a veteran squad because we're in the end of February. Tell me about this team and what you know about them.
Talented, young talent. Obviously, I think Seth does a good job with their group. They've got goaltending. I think they've got depth at defense. They've definitely got some front of your seat sitting forwards. Like they've got some forwards on their group there that are pretty electric.
Smolanic.
Yeah, I mean, some of these kids are just.
The Dylan Peterson kid.
Dylan's a good player. Really, I mean, you look at Hunter Strand's a really good player from Alaska. They've had Zach Karpa, who's a good player. Yoder's a good. Samalik is a really good player. So,
is that roster pretty fluid, Luke? They maybe. Does the under 18 steal guys like they did last year because they were so good?
Yeah, they will come maybe tournament time, but the difference is this 18 team is crazy good.
Isn't it nice that you had to play them last year?
They say this will be the first NTDP team that every single player gets drafted on. That's their prediction.
Yeah, and maybe number 1 overall.
Oh yeah, I mean Husey would probably most likely. I'm guessing they could have.
He's got to be top 3-4, right?
They could have 8 first rounders on their team, the under 18s. So, but we got a task at hand on ourselves, and the idea that the young D or the Gallatin kid's a good player, Powell's a good player, Latch is a big lanky good player, but they're good.
Style of play.
I'd say fast. I think
making plays skilly.
They're going to make plays. They're going to be skillful. We have to play I think we have to play hard. We have to be patient at the same time. We're going to have to show maybe some just resilience in the idea, like new players back in the lineup, getting some guys going, getting ice time for some guys, but at the same time being aware that a turnover against a skillful team like this is a deadly turnover.
I've seen it so many times. Doesn't matter what age. If you're on a breakaway, it's a scary situation. The other one, too, you talk about physicality, and one of the things I always come across Team USA is they can play physical, but they also have that cage on their face.
They do, and I think if you've been the younger brother in your family and you want to take some shots at the older brother, that's how this game usually gets to. And they're, like I said, they're a talented group. We've got to get on track with some things. I liked what we did here today. It's with our group, with our meeting, with the direction, kind of a reset button, getting guys back around it. And now we got to do some following through.
Friday, 7 o'clock, Saturday, 7 o'clock, Sunday, make up Sioux Falls. It's Paw Patrol and all that stuff. Keep your tickets from this last week. You can turn them in or talk to the office, and they'll tell you all the details on it. That's coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all 3. Home,
and then there'll be basketball time.
Yeah. There will be basketball time. There's basketball tonight,
there is,
for that matter. But it'll be basketball time. Then we hit the Kearney, and then we keep on rolling. So there you have it. We are done with the Musketeer Coaches Show. I think we covered a lot of stuff. It's play or no play. It's a new game we have every week now during the Musketeer Coaches Show.
And note to self: if you're ever in the vehicle and someone's got 2 pair of gloves on, and they don't offer you a pair,
you can smack them.
Dumb and Dumber. Yeah.
Basketball tonight, East and West. We'll have the coverage. Fox Sports Radio 620, Cabinet, Sioux City.